Hi Virgo, my name is Tiana and welcome to my channel Inspired by Ease. Just so you know, this is general. You can swap around the characters, probably not applicable in your scenario. But also these aren't date specific as well. These are meant for the end of April 2020, but if this reaches you 3 months from now, a year from now, I just trust that when the message is supposed to reach you, it'll reach you. So we're just going to jump right in. This message, I feel like it's basically a message to you, Virgo, to go onto an energy detox to kind of heal any fears or stress or overwhelm that you might be going through at this time, so that you can come back home and feel really peaceful as you kind of step into birthing your dream life, basically. So yeah, let's just jump in. Your energy signatures or your energy themes are cosmic flower, which is all about coming back to our center, coming back home, so we can pour our magnificence out into the world. What you don't have, you can't give, right? You also have solar plexus, confidence, personal power, knowing who you are, personal integrity, and conception, birthing something new. So let's see, what numbers do we have? We have 7, which is all about divine spirituality. There's a lot of feminine energy in your reading, whether you're male or female. This is just the kind of energy right now where I think a lot of people are starting to come into the winter of themselves, going into a self-reflective mode and everything. So of course that's going to translate into having more intimacy with your spiritual practice and becoming more spiritual, and even having more gifts coming online. And then 3 is basically the catalyst number, the thing that basically changes the whole game. I think it's, two things coming together to create a third thing. And then we also have 9, which is about endings and completions and preparing for that new reality that you are in the midst of creating, whether you know it or not. So I'm just going to briefly read through these. Conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins, which I think is really interesting because that's kind of like cosmic flower. You're coming back to your center, coming back in your heart, coming back home. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what can manifest through our focused awareness and intention. Yes, that's very important. Solar plexus, which is right where your stomach is, pretty much, supports our sense of self, our personal power, our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution to the whole is. So maybe right now you're experiencing the opposite. You might be experiencing hopelessness or powerlessness, confusion, not really knowing right from left, this kind of thing. And so the energy is kind of coming to kind of this pause so you can find that stillness and centeredness. Lastly, we have cosmic flower, which activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence into the world. So there are these themes of home, personal power, and coming back to our place of origin, where everything begins. It helps us to remember our infinite potential. So with that hopelessness, powerlessness that you might be experiencing right now, remember that there is infinite potential no matter how bad and scary things look. And that the key to basically manifesting is through our own focused awareness and intention. So what is your intention with what you're wanting to create here? Okay, so your animal totems are gazelle and moth. So it seems to me that that you are needing to take a time to kind of pause and lean back and kind of look at the big picture here, the big picture of what you want your life to look like, and just taking a moment's rest from all the media, from any negativity, anything like that, Virgo, and just taking this time to just appreciate a sunset, to just be in the present moment, so that you can soar and be creative and be light and childlike from this place of home and centeredness and strength and knowing who you are and feeling more positive and in alignment with yourself. But I do strongly feel that you are wanting to get to a place of more creativity, more spontaneity, less rigidity and control and limitations. And you're wanting to just be able to be free to create, which I think is very beautiful. Okay, so now jumping into the fairies, I'm going to do this by threes. So we have She of the Kruak, which represents the divine feminine principle, which is what I was talking about. And we have Luathas the Wild, which is about jumping into action, seeing something and wanting to charge after it. So, you're kind of having to take a pause here and kind of lean back here and really maybe figure out what it is that you're really passionate about, so that you can start walking that path and walking towards that dream or person or dream life, whatever it is. So let's focus on She of the Kruak. The divine feminine principle is all about relaxing, as opposed to the divine masculine principle, which is all about action taking and creating systems and structures and things like that. The divine feminine principle is more about leaning into something, being very receptive, being very open, being very allowing. So this is very wise of you, Virgo, because you're kind of just opening up your hands to the universe and saying, what is it that I'm meant to be doing right now? Instead of trying to just scramble around like like a lot of people are, just kind of seeing a whirling dervish, I think that's what it's called, or just just being a busy bee. But you're just like, no, I want to know what it is that I'm supposed to be really doing right now in this moment. And so I think this is just really beautiful, and it's this is the energy that you're needing to come into currently, so that you can receive that insight, receive that download of information, and come back to center and get your sense of power back, and maybe even have more realizations about who you are and what you want and what your purpose is. As you move through that energy, you're going to be like, aha, I know what it is. I know what I want to charge after. I know exactly what I want. And you're just going to just be like a racehorse, just waiting for the gates to open. So this is basically like, I'm just telling you a story of kind of how the energy is going to go. So if you're feeling like, oh, why am I feeling maybe even tired? Maybe your body won't even let you do that much. I know a lot of people, myself included, have been tired lately. And maybe that is because your higher consciousness is wanting you to say, no, there's something more here. There's we need you to realize something about who you are and what your purpose is. And so then you can take action with that clear intention, with that 2020 vision, and be able to really orchestrate and organize your life according to that clear vision. And if you haven't checked it out, you might want to check out my energy forecast that I did, because I kind of talk about that as well. So then you get this amazing clear vision of what you're wanting to do and to create. And so then now you get to move more into your divine masculine principle. The reason why I didn't talk about the divine masculine principle here is because it's more of just like a feeling that's starting to build, that will start to build up inside of you. You won't quite be at the point of taking action. It'll be more like just letting yourself be in that dreamlike state and really milking that place of what you want it to look like and feel like. This is the card for love at first sight. So this is, when the guy sees the girl that he wants to ask out, he, if he's smart, he's not going to go up to her right away. He's going to think it through and, really feel things out and really just kind of take his time, take things slow. So that's kind of what I'm kind of describing here. And so now we have the divine masculine principle coming into play, where you're starting to take your first steps towards this newfound passion and dream of yours. So that's kind of what's happening more on the surface for you. And so now we're going to start to go into the subconscious. And it's either going to be switched. Either this is what's at the forefront for you, because this is what's kind of causing you to need to lean back and do kind of an energetic detox. Actually, I think that's more the case. So that's kind of the higher purpose of what's going on currently. And so now we're going into shadow work here. And this makes sense because of what's been happening in the world. So basically we have Epona's wild daughter, which she is the gatekeeper of despair and loneliness and these darker energies. She's kind of like the guide that helps you through these darker energies. We have G the Hobia, which is basically just like a little goblin this big, kind of projected on a big silver screen, trying to scare the bejesus out of you, but he's not really something to be scared of. He's really that tall, and that can be very symbolic of kind of what's happening on a global scale. That's all I will say. And so basically this is saying that phrase, false evidence appearing real. So whatever fears or stress or anxieties that you're having, they're valid, but they are not going to come true. They're not something that you need to be focusing or giving your energy to any longer. And we have the soul shrinker. So this is more of an energy that is more about words, poisonous words. So I mean, this could literally be the media here, but this could also be a person in your life that is highly critical, or just a part in your psyche that's kind of saying, oh, that will never work, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough, this kind of thing. It's some kind of negative talk that's very draining on you. So this is kind of what you've been experiencing, Virgo, and I really, really feel for you, because these are not fun energies to be working through, but you're definitely going to be working through them, because this has kind of been a catalyst for you to have the wisdom to say, you know what, I need to just unplug myself. This is just enough. I don't need to be terrorizing myself with all of this. I don't deserve this. I don't need this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go within and kind of sit back and return to my homeostasis, to return back to balance. And I think that's really wise, because you might, during this time of kind of unplugging, you might be thinking, wait a second, none of this really makes sense. And you might end up doing research and finding truths that resonate with you, and that might help with empowering you to take some kind of action to help. So to basically do something that would be empowering for you. So whether that is speaking, giving a presentation about the information that you find, just talking about it with people, putting a group together to kind of help support each other during this time. I think that during this time of downtime and meditation and going within, you're gonna be inspired to take some kind of action, not just for your goals and dreams, but to create more connection and togetherness, even virtually. That will make you feel good and make other people feel good, and it'll be something that will be very empowering. And so through all of this, there's we have the guardian at the gate, we have honesty, and we have himself. So with guardian at the gate, there's kind of two energies that are going on here. I think you're kind of it's kind of like this energy, really uncomfortable energy, where it's like you're just at the peak of it, and then you're gonna have some kind of release. So there might be an element of you feeling very uncomfortable, and it might feel kind of like unbearable, but it's like once you pass this certain threshold, then there's going to be this release. It's more like I'm just kind of thinking of, I don't know why, but I'm just kind of thinking like you were inside this volcano, and okay, let's say a bird is inside a volcano, and it has to fly up so high to get through the top. It might not be a volcano, it's just something where they're kind of stuck, and they have to fly, and it's like they're almost there, but it's like they could hardly, their wings are so tired, and it's like they don't think that they're gonna make it, but they just do it. They just get past that one threshold, and then they're free. It's more of like this, instead of this release, this like downward movement, it's more of like soaring even higher. It probably doesn't make that much of a difference to you, but that's more of the energy that I'm feeling. And then the second energy of this is that there might be some kind of huge emotional release. You might be crying, you might even be laughing, but there's some kind of like big emotional release that I think that you are going to be experiencing after you transcend this, whatever this is. And And you know, this might also have to do with money and your career, and you might be really stressed out about finances right now. And so I think instead of trying to rush and like get another job or respond in fear and desperation to try to make money, you're being very wise and just taking this time to really ground and center yourself, and you get this idea. And now it's like you have this release because maybe money is coming to you easier than ever before in the midst of coronavirus. And it's just kind of funny that it's just this kind of feeling. It's just like, why was I even like freaked out? Who knew that it could be this easy despite being in the middle of some kind of pandemic like this? And it was like this the entire time. And I don't know, it's some kind of you're reaching this threshold and there's this big opening for you, and this big opening of potential and possibilities, and it's probably going to create some kind of emotional release followed by laughter, kind of like the irony of it all kind of thing. So we do have honesty here, and I was talking about some kind of emotional release. And so there's either or both. There's either a need for you to be honest with someone. Not that you haven't. It's more like you need to admit something, admit what you really want, or just being very vulnerable. I'm sensing this theme of authenticity, so or feeling like you had to hide, and that this new dream or vision is requiring you to be very, very transparent and very, very authentic. So there might be this theme of feeling very raw, feeling very vulnerable, and this kind of being unfamiliar territory for you, Virgo. It's almost, and then the other part of it, so you might be having to admit something to someone where it's like, I actually secretly want to just do this, or it's some kind of like, in an ideal world, all I'd really want to do is just paint and draw all day. That's my passion. And that's what I really need to admit to myself, that's what I really need to go for. Or in an ideal world, all I would want to do is ice skate or write novels, or something like this that maybe even you haven't really admitted to, because maybe you had that inner critic saying that there's no money in that, you can't, you're not enough, this kind of talk. And so somehow this world of opportunities are opening up for you, and you're kind of having to be like, yeah, I do have this, like, this is what I really, really want. And you're aligning your energy so you can believe that that's possible. So you're either having to admit something to yourself and or another person or another group of people, and maybe feeling more vulnerable and raw, and things like that, and not having as many walls or fronts or things like that. It's something that's really, it's a heart-centered thing, is what I'm trying to say. It's something you're deep inside your heart. The other thing that I want to say about honesty is that he reminds me of a chrysalis, like right before a butterfly is born. So, and we do have the moth. So, and look at that, they match. So, yeah, I think this whole process is a process that's leading up to you taking flight, to you soaring towards your dreams and being weightless, from going from, oh my gosh, my wings are so tired, to, oh my gosh, I'm free and I just have unlimited energy and I can just fly all day long. This sort of thing. And lastly, we have himself. So definitely solar plexus kind of energy. This is you coming into your absolute power. He's lit up in the heart, third eye, and crown chakra. And yeah, you're just going to be completely very centered in yourself, in this new state of being, and you're going to be just totally in your power. At the end of this process, there's going to be no really fear or anything. You're just going to be solid. So your last pieces of advice here, I'm going to try to go through them very quickly. Just remember, you are so blessed, Virgo, especially in the, transcending these darker energies. Remember that you are blessed and this is all happening for your benefit, and potentially so you can help and heal others that are going through a similar experience. You are headed towards more tribe and connection. Like I was saying, this all might be inspiring you to create groups online, like hangout chats, this sort of thing, where more people can come together and comfort one another. And also more support, and kindred spirits are coming to you and are on their way. To be fair, this card has been coming up a lot lately, and recently I've just been getting the message of law of attraction and law of mirroring. Remember about the law of attraction, law of mirroring, and be very careful of your thoughts and what you give attention and awareness to, and do take time to do the shadow work and everything, and do that integrative work that Teal Swan teaches with the completion process and parts work. And on the other side of this, it literally means that if you've been going through a time that has felt unfair and unjust, the scales are going to be balanced and it's all going to be worth it in the end. And you are going to find your balance, and it is going to feel more than fair in the end. So let's see. You have this dynamic of taking this time to connect with your higher power, come into more of your divine feminine energy, which is receiving, allowing, opening up, and just being an observer maybe of your thoughts, of kind of what's happening on the global stage, and not reacting emotionally, but just observing and maybe connecting some dots, but definitely just being an observer of your emotions and your thoughts, which is a wonderful meditative practice. So this is kind of the first process that you're kind of doing that's going to lend itself to jumping into action and going the distance, going after your dreams, and finding people to co-create with, And then ultimately being very loyal to your heart and being around people that are very genuine and loyal to your heart and know your heart, and just being around more kindred spirits. So Virgo, I hope that this message was of value to you, and if you got something out of it, please click the like button and subscribe so you can see more videos like this from me in the future. And don't hesitate to leave me a comment down below. I love reading your comments. So if you feel inspired, leave me a short, doesn't need to be short, I love long ones too, but just a sweet, kind comment. And needless to say, if I find any negative comments, they will be deleted. So this is a place of positivity and love. So like I say at the end of all my videos, know that you are so, so, so loved. You are never, ever alone. And always be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Big kiss. Take care, Virgo. Bye.